Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. If you don't already know who it is, it's the one and only, the true Alex J. And a lot of people reach out to me and they ask me, can you start a business with no money? $0. And the honest answer is yes, of course you can. But let me go into that and explain why you can and how to have a successful business with no money. And I think that's the real question. It's not can you start a business with no money, can you have a successful business with no money? And yes, you can. And there's a lot of examples that I want to give you and show you how you can start your own business with no money and still make money. One of the first things, and a lot of people have spoken about this, so please don't leave this video just because of this one piece of advice, is eBay. You know, you can sell a lot of stuff on eBay, whether you're going to, you know, you can go to garage sales and pick up some stuff and sell them on eBay. You can do drop shipping. You know, there's a lot of different websites where you can find products and sell them cheaper on different websites. So you can sell them on eBay or Amazon, maybe, you know, a local supplier that has access to particular clothing that's made, you know, locally and only normally sold locally. If you can get the shipping prices right, you can sell those internationally. So that's just one example. Another example would be a question that I really want to answer, and I think this is really, really important when making the decision to start a business with no money. Is it worth it? You need to find out, is it worth you starting a business yet? If the business that you have, the idea that you have requires capital, then you need to get the money. Don't try and, you know, get through the waves with no money. It makes more sense to me to get the capital first and then go and launch. So you can start a business and use that as leverage to get your big project going. Does that make sense? So you start a small business to make your big one, the real dream, the real vision that you have, to make that successful, okay? So, because sometimes something requires money, like you can make a film with no money, but we both know what happens, you know, when you're making a film with a low budget. It makes more sense to get the budget by doing something else and then using that to make your real dream, your real vision. Don't compromise your company or your vision just because of lack of funds. You know, I've seen, obviously right now I'm in Asia, I'm from London, but I'm in Asia right now, and I've seen some incredible piece of, you know, innovation. I was in a mall and there was a Chinese guy and he was deaf. And he obviously was homeless and he had no money. And what he'd done was he'd got these pieces of wire and he'd made these like things, and he'd made a card, and it was quite clever. He'd made this card. On one side was written in English and one side was written in, I think it was Mandarin or Bahasa, I'm not sure. But and it's not that I don't know the difference between languages. I can't remember what it was written. But he basically said, "Hi, my name's whatever. I'm deaf. And I'm homeless, I don't want to ask for money, so what I want to do is I want to sell you something." And I thought it was genius, you know. So he's going around, instead of begging, you know, he's taking action, he's being proactive. So instead of standing with his hand out, right, he's actually giving something and he gets something in return, right? So yeah, so he was making money that way. I've seen homeless people with no legs. I mean, this isn't a joke. I've seen people with no legs selling shoes, right? You know, there's so many different things that you can do to make money, but you have to want to. And you know, you've seen, everyone knows the example of girls selling lemonade and girls selling cookies. You know, you can do that. You know, it's not a difficult business to begin, and you don't really need much capital. So when they say no money, you know, sometimes it's a little bit, but you don't need much to begin those businesses. With dropshipping, you don't need any money at all. So there's a lot of different businesses that you can begin and be successful in with no money. But you need to think, is that going to be the long-term vision? If you're going to, you know, if you want to be doing fashion and you want to design, you know, your own clothes and sell those on, and I've seen that happen. You know, there was a guy from Ghana who reached out to me. He makes his own clothing, and it was, you know, the designs are really nice. And I said to him, like, are you selling those, you know, just locally or internationally? He said, the vision is I want to sell them internationally, but I need to sell them local first, get the capital, and then I can go international. I thought that was fantastic, and everyone should have the same thing in mind. Again, don't compromise your vision just because you don't have the budget. Work on making the money and then make your other dream come true. Okay, so it doesn't matter about how much. You know, sometimes a lot of people don't know this, but Kickstarter and Indiegogo, a lot of people say, yeah, you know, I could raise a lot of money on there. You can. But what a lot of people don't realize is how much work goes behind a successful Kickstarter or Indiegogo campaign. Usually is a year before where they're setting things up to make it successful. For example, they'll grow a huge social media following, whether it be on Twitter or Facebook, in order to drive their audience to the Indiegogo campaign. Or they run CPC campaigns or PPC campaigns, which is pay-per-click or cost-per-click. They run those advertisements and drive them towards their campaign. So I've seen, I was working with a particular campaign and it was $95,000 was spent and they made approximately between $300 and $500, I can't remember the exact figure, but they spent $95,000 and they made between $300,000 and $500,000, which is a huge profit, right? Okay, so it's like 2, 3, 4 times the initial investment. So you have to keep all of this in mind. They knew what they wanted, but they knew that they needed the capital to begin with. They said, right, we need, say, $300,000, but we only have $100,000. So what they did was they invested all of that into their campaign to grow it, and it turned around and made $300,000. But they'd already started a business to make that initial $100,000. Okay, so it's important again to understand: is that your end goal? Is this business that you're trying to begin now your end goal, or is it being used as a vehicle to begin your second business or third business or fourth business? So always keep that in mind. So can you start a business with no money? Yes. Can you have a successful business with no money? Yes. But don't compromise your vision just because of lack of budget. I'd recommend doing things before in order to make that successful. I'm also doing free business consultations via Skype. You can press on the link below to find that. Please, if you enjoyed this video, make sure that you press the subscribe button down below. You can also find me on facebook.com/thetruealexj. I look forward to speaking to you guys again soon. In the meantime, peace.